If you're shopping around for the best deal on your cosmetic and aesthetic procedures, I have news for you. If a place is offering $8 Botox, you may want to run the other way. That's because places that are offering prices that seem too good to be true often are not where you want to be going to get the best cosmetic and aesthetic results. It seems like med spas and places offering injectables, lasers, devices, and all kinds of things are popping up everywhere at every strip mall, at your hairdresser. I joke that they're going to be at the grocery store next, but are getting your procedures done at these places really safe? I'm Dr. Alice Mina. I'm a board certified dermatologist, and welcome to my channel, The Skin Real, where I give real people real information and education about their skin health so that they can make informed decisions. Sound good? Let's get into it. This is my weekly recap episode where I break down my key takeaways from my recent episode with Dr. Sethi, where we dived into the wild, wild west of med spas. If you want to hear the full episode, be sure to stick around. I will link that at the end. All right. So I'm sure if you are listening, you have heard of med spas. You've seen them. They are on every corner in every strip mall. Heck, even hairstylists and even parties are having med spas, injectors, even your hairstylist. And I joke that even CVS and the grocery store are going to start having med spas as part of their offerings. So these places are everywhere. And there always seems to be someone willing to give you Botox or give you filler or do a procedure on you. But is it really safe? Or what are the things you need to be on the lookout for? Now, I am not here to bash med spas. They certainly have a role. And I go to a med spa myself for my laser hair removal. And I have had some IPL on my chest for some red and brown spots. But the person I see, shout out to Ranka, she is amazing. She knows what she can do. She knows her limits and she knows the procedures that she does. She doesn't try to do more. And she has no problem texting me and calling me when she sees something on the skin that concerns her. She just doesn't think it looks right. She doesn't know what it is, but she won't treat until I've seen the patient or told her. And she will delay treating someone until we make sure we know what's going on. And that's the kind of relationship you want with the person doing your procedure. You want them to be skilled at what they're doing, but also know when they have reached their limits and they're not afraid to say no. Or if something looks funny or weird, to say, you know what, I think you probably should get that checked out first. That's the kind of person you want at your med spa getting you your treatments. But here's the problem. Med spas are a dime a dozen, it seems like nowadays. And really, the regulations for opening a med spa are really low. There's actually no federal oversight whatsoever. It really varies state by state. And some states have very lax restrictions. You don't have to be a physician. You don't have to be on site as the physician director. And this is a shocking statistic. Only about 38% of med spas have physician supervision at all. And here's the thing, that supervision can be a person available to answer a phone call states away. So to me, that's not really supervision. So in the world of med spas, it can feel a little bit like the Wild West. And I feel like we need to remember that there's a med in med spa and that these treatments are, while they're not considered covered by insurance, they're still medical procedures with complications that can arise and happen. And one of the important things to know about complications is that they can happen to anyone. There's risk with everything that we do in life, but you want to make sure that you, the person doing your treatment, is trying to lower those risks as much as possible, and also that they know what to do if a complication arises. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone come to my clinic who has had a complication at a med spa and they want me to then fix it. And sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But what would be even better is that you could just see the person doing the procedure and they can work with you on it, or even best, not even to have that in the first place. I think sometimes people think procedures like lasers, because we're not actually cutting the skin, there may not be any visible blood or any changes in the skin right away, that it's safe and that you can't really cause harm. But that's actually really not true whatsoever. These procedures can all have complications. A lot of times people rely on the preset settings that these device companies or laser companies provide to the person operating it. And a lot of times those settings are the lowest possible because they know that there are a lot of people using these devices who maybe haven't had training beyond a weekend course or the training that they offer. And so the settings tend to be fairly mild. And that is meant to be safe, but it also means you are not getting necessarily the most effective treatment. What's even better is for you to see someone who actually understands how the device works, who's not just following the pre programmed settings and can look at your skin and the desired outcome that you're wanting to get and work with you to get that to tweak the settings. Because again, those preset settings are really just a start. And someone who's really skilled at using these devices knows how to change and adjust those safely to give you the best results. Now, I used to say Botox can't be that harmful. It wears off. It only lasts a couple of months. But now recently, there's been this outbreak of fake Botox out there. And I realized that even Botox can have some serious side effects. If you are seeing a place where they are offering $6, even $8, honestly, Botox, I would really think twice because Botox is expensive to buy. And if a place is offering it that cheap, they really aren't even making their money on what they've spent for real Botox. So it makes you wonder, are they really even using real Botox? And they may even think they're using real Botox. But again, if something seems like too good a deal, too good to be true, that would be a red flag to me. Let's talk about some of the red flags at med spas because I am all for wellness and doing things to make yourself feel better. There are amazing estheticians out there who can really help you with your skincare. They can do facials for you. They can do dermaplaning, even things like microneedling and certain laser procedures. And I think they pair wonderfully with a dermatologist to help give you maximum results with your aesthetic treatments. But there are some red flags to be aware of if you are going to a med spa. I would say number one, if they are offering too good to be true pricing, I would really think twice. You're probably not getting what they're saying if their filler is only $200 or the Botox is very, very cheap. There's just no way they can buy those products and sell them for that amount and make a profit. And these med spas, they tend to be run more like a for-profit business rather than a medical practice. So too good to be pricing, red flag number one. Number two is what does a facility look like? If you see dirty instruments or dirty gauze all over the place, things don't look clean, it doesn't look sanitary, people aren't wearing gloves, they're not wiping things down, I would have serious reservations about getting a procedure done at a place like this. There have been reports of people getting infected with HIV at med spas where the blood from PRP was mixed up and someone who had HIV positive blood was then given to someone else. So again, these are not procedures without risk and really significant risk. So look at the hygiene of the place and make sure that it looks like it would at a doctor's office. I know a lot of times these med spas, they look luxurious, they look beautiful. They don't look as sterile as a physician's office. And I think that gives it a lot of appeal because let's be honest, no one really wants to go to a doctor's office, but a spa, heck yeah, that's way more fun. So just make sure though that they are treating it with the kind of sanitation and hygiene that you would expect in a medical practice. Don't be afraid to ask details and questions about who is performing your treatment. If they get offended by this, I would say that's a red flag. Certainly, when I was starting off, I looked really young. People would ask me, how many of these have you done? I don't get that as much anymore now that I'm a good 12, 13 years into practice. But I wouldn't get offended by that because I knew that they were just looking out for their own safety and wanted the best for themselves. And so don't be afraid to ask someone, what's your training? If they say that they're a doctor, ask them, a doctor of what? Are they a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist? Are they a physician or non-physician? How many of these do they do? What is their experience? Where did they get training? How many years have they been doing it? These are all great questions to ask someone to make sure you are getting the best results possible. Because remember, this is all elective and you're paying cash for these procedures. You want to make sure that you are safe, you're not harmed, and you get amazing results. I would also make sure you know about the product you are getting or the procedure you are having performed. I had a patient get filler in another country and it was all in the wrong spot in her lip and she wanted me to dissolve it. But she didn't even know what kind of filler she got. Fortunately, it was the type of filler that I could dissolve, but it's important to know, what are you having done? Write it down. Have them write it down for you or get a brochure so you actually know what the procedure, what the device is, what the filler you're being injected with, so you are aware. And if you have concerns, you can always call your dermatologist and say, hey, do you think this is the right procedure for me based on my skin type, et cetera, things like that. The other thing I would mention is that if something isn't responding the way it should be, then seek additional information. I have seen so many melanomas lasered by spas, and they will tell me, we've lasered this for years. It hasn't gone away. It just kept coming back. And really, that should be a red flag that this is not just a typical brown spot. This is not just sun damage. There's more going on. And don't be afraid if things are not responding the way they should be or you thought they would be, to seek further guidance on what could be going on. And then lastly, I would say do not shop around. Cosmetics, aesthetics, this is not where you want to get the best deal because a lot of times the best deal is not the best thing for you and for your look. And I find that people can look really piecemeal when they go to one place for their lips and another place for cheeks and this place for that. It can look very choppy and not a very nice overall aesthetic look. So don't price shop, don't shop around. Find someone you trust and kind of stick with them. I think your results will be more impactful. You develop a great relationship with them and a great rapport. And I really think that's ideal versus going to so many different people, a different person each time. Your results are not going to be as consistent. And again, we're not price shopping for our aesthetics. This is not where we want a buy one, get one free, where we want Groupons and deals, right? This is our body. This is our aesthetic. This is our look. And again, it's completely elective. So this is not where we want to cut corners. In the right setting, I think med spas can be a wonderful adjunct to the skincare guidance that you're getting from your dermatologist. Just make sure that you are staying safe. You are being a savvy consumer when you are going to these places, and see someone who is reputable, who knows their limits, and knows what to do should a complication arise. If you want to hear the full episode, be sure to check it out here, and I will see you next week.